Hey, what's up? It is a mystery to most about how to interpret the westernmost city limits of Camas. Is it 192nd Avenue? I will answer this with complete understanding, and we're going to get after that right now. First off, at the end of this video, I'm also going to make a short mention of the city limits line between Oswego and Camas, but 90% of this video is about the western edge as it butts up against Vancouver. You know, my strength comes from my longevity here. I've lived here all my life, over 60 years, and this gives me historical insight to the area. I not only know how it exists now, but I understand how it came to be. My knowledge runs deep and cannot be learned in a few short years. I can't tell you how this region differs to yours because I've lived here all my life, but I can tell you the ins and outs, the specifics of this region. And in this video, I'm going to reveal the question that is a mystery to many people. Is the home I'm looking at in the Camas School District? Is the home I'm looking at in the Camas city limits? These are important questions, and you need to understand these fully when considering a home on the western edge of Camas. Zip code, city limits, school boundaries, all these lines are in conflict. 192nd is largely assumed to be the Camas line. And in case of the zip code, that is correct. If you live on the east side of 192nd, you will have a Camas mailing address. But what about the school district? And are you in the city limits of Camas? Both of these are not easy to understand without visualization. All three elements have their own identity. Being in a Camas zip code does not necessarily mean that you will get service from the Camas Police Department or other city government. Being within the city limits of Camas almost assures you that you will be in the Camas School District and in the Camas zip code, but not always. It's really difficult to ascertain this information as even the property tax statements show the mailing address of the property and not necessarily that you are in fact in the city limits. Many property tax statements show the address as Camas, and that is true with the mailing address, but not necessarily true with residents within the city of Camas. So how do we determine this important information? I have a place where I can definitively search and find out this information. I can even find out this information while we are touring homes on my phone for each specific address. And we shouldn't take the listing broker's word for school assignment. That information could have been offered by the seller, who may be misinformed or frankly misleading, unless the listing broker has verified this information with the governing agency. He or she does not know for sure that that information is correct. As part of my philosophy of no buyer's remorse, I will always make sure that the property you are interested in offers the qualities that you are looking for. Okay, let's look at some maps. The first one shows the entire city limits of Camas. Not very revealing. The next map shows the region's zip code boundaries, including Camas. The thing you should notice immediately is that the Camas city limits line, which is the dark black line, is much smaller than the zip code. The entire tan area of this map will have a Camas mailing address and zip code, regardless of whether it is in the city limits or in the Camas School District. Okay, now let's zoom in on the western edge of the same map. Again, you will notice the dark black line representing the city limits of Camas. The zip code line follows 192nd Avenue almost without fail. The next map shows the western boundary of the Camas School District. The school district is a bit broader. It extends further to the west than the city limits, but falls short of the zip code line. Now, let's look at a side-by-side map in roughly the same scale. The left map is the westernmost edge of the Camas School District line. The green area is the Camas School District. Near the bottom, the Camas School District touches 192nd. This is the westernmost edge of the district. Moving north At 20th Street, the boundary heads east and starts zigging and zagging north and east from there. On the right, I am illustrating the difference between the western edge of the Camas zip code versus the Camas School District. Everything between 192nd Avenue and the Camas city limits will have a Camas mailing address and zip code. So who services this strip between 192nd and the Camas city limits? Any guesses? That would be the city of Vancouver. Vancouver Police, Vancouver Fire. This is yet another confusing overlay. But rest assured, if you call 911, you will get the proper agency that services you regardless of where you live. This little strip kind of reminds me of Israel. You have Vancouver Evergreen Schools, Vancouver City Service, and a Camas address. Note on the right map, I have marked the location of Costco and Union High School. These both have Camas mailing addresses and Camas street address, but they're not really in Camas. Many of the businesses in the Costco shopping center identify as Camas in the names of their businesses, but both Costco and Union High School are in that strip between Camas and Vancouver. The Union High School is part of the Evergreen School District of Vancouver. Now let's look at another anomaly. At the southwesternmost portion of the map, south of 20th Street and east of 192nd, you are still outside the city limits of Camas. You are in the Camas zip code and the Camas School District, but not in the city limits of Camas, and you will receive Vancouver Emergency Services. You may have to watch this video a couple times or pause the video to gain full clarity, and I encourage you to do that. And now let's look at a portion of the eastern boundary of the Camas School District. I'm not going to give as much detail here, and it won't be quite as fun, but I've zoomed in on a crazy neighborhood boundary line between the Camas School District and the Washougal School District. This is near the downtown core of Washougal. The green area is the Camas School District, and the white area is Washougal. You need to be especially careful on some of the streets at the border of the two school districts. It is possible for one home on a street to be in the Washougal School District and the next door home be in the Camas School District. It's a crapshoot as to whether open enrollment would allow you to shift over to the other school district, even if you're right next door. So no matter where you're looking to locate in the area, it's always important to do a search by the address. And I will always do this as part of my due diligence to my clients. Although ultimately it is your responsibility to do your own due diligence. But you are not going to be happy with me if I do not point out things that might make a difference in whether you buy a specific home or not. Just part of the no buyer's remorse philosophy that I have. And until the next video, I'll catch you later.